The bull market is here. Did you buy enough Bitcoin? I'm pretty sure the majority of you would answer no to that. I know I personally would love to be able to buy more Bitcoin under 30K, but like it or not, the price of Bitcoin sets its eye up and to the right. But just how bullish could the bull market really be? Strap in, because it's time to discover crypto. Okay, everybody, I know we all missed the massive gains you could make overnight back in 2021. And for those of you who are just joining us, you missed the reason that I have so many new gray hairs. The 2022 bear market, especially right here. You know, right in there. But this tweet from Going Parabolic gave me hope. You have to admit that the charts look really similar, so I took a look at the previous Bitcoin cycles. And I have a secret to tell you. The bull run has already begun.
Hey, come on, baby! Come on! Yes! Come on! Ah! Yes! Yes!
And I know, all of the bears are going to come for me in the comments, and that's fine. In fact, give this video a like and subscribe while you're here, because I'm going to give you the reasons why I know the bull market has started and why this bull market isn't going to be much different than the bull markets we've seen from the past. As Mark Twain said, history never repeats itself, but it does often rhyme. So let's go back in time to 2009 when Bitcoin first came onto the scene. In fact, if you have a time machine, hook me up, because I wouldn't mind picking up a couple thousand Bitcoin at 9 cents. It's the least you can do for all of the top of the line crypto goodness that we bring here at Discover Crypto. But anyway, the reason I'm going back that far is to remind you that Bitcoin was created during a recession and one of the most painful banking and housing crises we've ever had to experience since the Great Depression. We're also involved in several wars in Afghanistan and Iraq at the time of its inception. During the first crypto bull run, we got involved with the Libyan civil war. There was also a war in Gaza around that time, and the Arab Spring and the Syrian civil war had begun. One thing that seems to be consistent across human history is there's always some sort of armed conflict going on at the time being. The reason I'm giving you this history lesson is to assure you that the world isn't a whole lot different than it was in 2009, and that's why I'm treating this bull run just like all the others. Each bull run comes in 3 parts. Part 1, regaining ground before the halving year and hitting the last all-time high, and finally, shooting past all of them towards the moon with new crazy gains. Each part takes about a year and ends up in an upswing sometime in November to January. So let's talk about the first leg of this bull run, because spoiler alert, that's the part we're in right now. In 2011, Bitcoin skyrocketed from trading around 40 cents the year before to $4.70 at the end of 2011. I know it feels like torture to go back this far, but I promise it's important. At the same phase of the bull cycle in 2015, Bitcoin moved from a previous 2014 low of $178 to $462. This was 2.5 times higher than that low. The same exact thing happened during the point in the 4-year cycle in 2019 when Bitcoin was trading just above $900. That was 2.5 times higher than the previous bear market low of $3,600. So keeping all of this in mind, I'm positive that we're going to see Bitcoin trading around the high $30,000 mark in the next 1 or 2 months. And I know you're going to say this time is different and anything could happen, but I'm betting it's going to be the same as last time. Last cycle, we had a global pandemic, lockdown starting, and there was a UK Brexit. We had a trade war going on with China, and Trump was impeached. Quite a cataclysmic moment in time. And yet, Bitcoin still managed to reach a 2.5x from its low in the end of the year. Similarly, with the second bull run in 2015, we had all sorts of crazy world events happening. China devaluing its own currency, war in the Middle East, a refugee crisis in Europe from the Syrian war, and a plethora of terrorist attacks. Despite all of this, Bitcoin still managed to 2.5x from its bear market lows. But that brings me to the good or bad news depending on how you look at it. The bear market lows are already in, folks. It happened last November when Bitcoin hit just over $15,000. And once again, this exactly matches the timing for all of the previous Bitcoin cycle lows. They always happen somewhere between November and January of the year, following the top of the bull cycle. Now, if you bought that low, oh yeah, baby, you know I did, you're probably excited by this, especially since your investment has more than doubled since those lows. But if you were waiting for 12K or even lower, I think you're going to be waiting forever. Now let's get to year 2 of the bull, the middle ground before this year of mania sets in. This happens in 2012, 2016, 2020, and will happen in 2024. These years always coincide with the halving, which will occur in April of 2024. These years also end up with a similar high at the end of the year, but that is typically a 2.4 to 3x from the previous year's high. This is also typically the year that breaks the previous bull run for its all-time high set. Bearing all this in mind, we could see Bitcoin anywhere between $93,000 to $115,000 by fall of 2024, or the following January. If you don't believe me, think about what will happen if $1 trillion comes into the market from Bitcoin ETFs being approved. That would bring Bitcoin's market cap back up around where it was at the height of the last bull run. Cathie Wood's ARK Invest has their final SEC deadline on January 10th, and experts believe multiple Bitcoin ETFs could be approved by the end of this year, and at very latest in March of 2024.
That the SEC chose to ask questions is a change in behavior. And therefore, I do think hopes are rising that a number of Bitcoin ETFs will be approved.
Plus, that's not even taking into account all of the retail money and investors that are keeping powder dry as we wait for this ETF approval on the sidelines. Okay, now I know you're dying to hear what I think the bull market top will be. Last time we all thought Bitcoin was going to 100K, and honestly, a lot of people are now thinking it didn't reach that level because of FTX manipulating the markets. The chart supports this because it's the strangest Bitcoin chart of all time and looks like manipulation. The top is really hard to gauge, which is why I'll be making decisions based on a timeline versus an exact price. But I have no problem estimating that Bitcoin could reach a price between $122,000 to $140,000 at the next top. This feels conservative, taking into account the potential market manipulation and our current high Fed rates that we're experiencing in this current day and age. But remember, the Fed raised rates significantly in 2017, and Bitcoin still managed to do over 100x. As always, this isn't financial advice, just do your own research and all that good stuff. Let me know what you think the price of Bitcoin will hit at the peak of the next bull market. Leave a comment below, and I'll see you at the top.